what if stopping an attack is actually making you lose faster? Because right now, something is happening in modern warfare that most people completely misunderstand. Missiles are being intercepted. Defense systems are working, but the real damage is happening somewhere else. And if you don't see it, you're missing the entire point. On the surface, ambitious mentor all this is all on simple. It's true command. As rockets are launched, air defense systems intercept them. And headlines focus on success rates. How many were stopped? How effective the system was. But that's only part of the story. Because counting interceptions doesn't tell you what's really happening behind every interception. There's a cost, and that cost is not equal. In many cases, the missile being launched is cheap, but the interceptor used to stop it is extremely expensive. So even when the defense works, it's still losing resources slowly, consistently, and that changes everything. This is not about winning quickly. This is about forcing the other side to spend, to react, to burn through its defenses. And that's why these attacks come in waves. First, large numbers of simple projectiles, then more precise weapons, and finally, systems designed to exploit gaps. It's not random. It's designed to exhaust. Here's where most people get it wrong. They assume that if a system can intercept threats, it guarantees security. But defense systems don't operate in isolation. They depend on supply, production, and time. And if those limits are reached, the system becomes vulnerable, no matter how advanced it is. And this doesn't stay local. Because once costs rise, and pressure builds, so the impact spreads economically, politically, and strategically. Other countries start watching, adjusting, and preparing. Because this is no longer just about one conflict. It's about a model of modern warfare. So the real question is not who is stronger. It's who can endure longer, who can sustain the pressure, and who runs out first. Because in modern conflict, that's what decides the outcome. As artist, I'm trying to look forward and do show the things. Is defense enough in today's conflicts? Or is the real battle happening somewhere we don't usually look? Let's make this real. Imagine launching a simple rocket that costs a few $1,000s. Now compare that to the system used to stop it, which can cost tens of thousands, sometimes even more. Now repeat that hundreds of times. At that point, the question changes. It's no longer about stopping the attack. It's about how long you can afford to keep stopping it. And there's another layer most people ignore: psychological pressure, constant alerts. Continuous attacks. Uncertainty about what comes next. Even if damage is limited, the pressure builds over time. And that affects decision making at every level. This creates a strategic trap. If you respond aggressively, you risk escalation. If you hold back, you continue absorbing pressure. So every decision becomes difficult. And every option comes with a cost, which is exactly the point. And the world is watching this closely, because this model can be repeated in different regions with different actors, which means this is not just a single conflict. It's a signal of how future wars might be fought. So maybe the real question isn't who wins, but who breaks first, Because in this kind of conflict, that's what really decides the outcome. So the real problem is, this kind of strategy is very hard to stop because it doesn't rely on precision alone. It relies on volume, on repetition, and on forcing constant reactions, which means even a strong defense can be pushed to its limits over time. At first, it can look like everything is under control. Systems are working. So that threats are being intercepted. But that is the deal course show what you is underneath that. It says pressure is building, resources are being used, and time is slowly running out. Even if it doesn't look that way on the surface. This is and this is what most people miss. Modern conflicts are no longer just about strength. They're about sustainability, about how long you can keep operating under pressure, and how quickly you can recover. Because once that balance breaks, everything changes. And this is why this matters beyond one situation. Because this model is spreading. More groups, more regions, more conflicts, adopting the same logic. Which means future wars. May look very different from what people expect. So the real question is not who is stronger, it's who can last longer. Who can absorb the pressure and who runs out of time first. Because in modern warfare, that's where the outcome is decided.